how do you know what kind of support you should expect? And for leaders, how do you build an environment where high performers actually stay? Ruby Jones is here to expose the patterns that she sees every day in her role as operations manager for Harcourts Northwest. This conversation is built to challenge, clarify, and raise the bar on what real estate support really looks like. Ruby Jones, welcome. In your opinion, what do you think the role of an operations manager is in 2025?
It's really important that you're taking the pressure off the business owners so they don't have to be in every gear at all times. Todd said to me, you're always positive, you're always happy, even when some days, I might not be feeling that positive, that happy, but I'm not going to be doom and gloom because the market's been so hard and everybody's feeling it. I need to be that uplifting person that brings in stability and that structure and that support.
It's creating stability in instability. So when I see what you do, there could be a hurricane going on outside and you're still in your office trying to strategize around what's the next step, how can we avoid the roof blowing off. The market in 2025 and further back has been incredibly unstable.
Stability and that structure and that support that they feel like, okay, well, I'm going to go into the office today and it's going to be a positive, happy experience, even though I've just had a really hard deal and I've had to negotiate on my commission or whatever it is going on for them.
From your experience, what's the biggest mistake leaders make when running a team?
I think it's really easy to say, okay, what's your financial target?
Yeah.
We can work towards this quarterly. This is how many listings, this is how many sales you need to get. But actually picking that apart and understanding how they're actually going to get there. Take the time to understand how they work. So when I ask them to be accountable, I have to understand what that looks like for them, how they can show up in that. If I'm just saying to everybody the same type of training and coaching and structure and expecting the same results, I'm failing. I think a lot of business owners, they do the work, they deliver what they need to say, for instance, at a sales meeting. They think that they've delivered the message clearly to everybody, but everybody perceives that differently. So if you're not taking the time to do one-on-one follow-ups
of how they can implement that in their own way
and how they heard that, how did that land for them, which I think is what Todd and I do really well. Yeah. Todd will go out to appraisals, he'll do door knocking with new agents. It's really hands-on, which is another thing that I think feeds into the culture here. So when you ask me about business owners and their failings and maybe potentially what they're not doing, here it's so hands-on. They can call us at any time and we jump in.
What's the biggest return on investment move a leader can make in the next 30 days?
Audit yourself. What have you been providing that's working? What is not working? Who can you reach out to get fresh ideas and assistance from? Sit down with your leaders, discuss what's not working, ask for their ideas, ask for their feedback. I know that can be a little bit daunting and a little bit scary as an ops manager. You're the one that needs to be providing. But if you've got that relationship and that support with your leaders, that would be really essential, I think. I also think that asking the agents in your one-on-ones, what is it that you need from me? I always ask them that at the end of our one-on-ones. Okay, and so what is it that you need from me? Because they may be sitting there thinking, I really want to ask this, or this is something that's bugging me, and, prompting them is key.
If you had to strip everything back, what are the non-negotiables of a high-performing team?
I think the non-negotiables for a successful business comes down to culture. The culture has to be right. People have to feel supported. People have to feel like they can come in here if they're having a bad day, a good day, and have that support. I also feel like a non-negotiable is building a really, really strong administration team. The administration team is the backbone. The girls that work tirelessly, sometimes they get phone calls late at night to change something. There's been some issue. I think it's really beneficial to have that administration team that care as much about the business as the management do. We've got some amazing administrators here.
You can employ people with the most amazing skill sets, but to really make it thrive, I think it's down to the agents.
At Harcourts Northwest, we really have taken the time to build on our processes and streamline them. It's minimal for the agents, the administration side of the business. We take care of everything. So all the in-house printing, all of the marketing, all of the designing, absolutely everything is taken care of by the administration. The way that that relationship between the admin and the agents work is if the agents respect the process. That's when those relationships become really strong and the give and take is there. When we onboard agents, we have a very, very clear induction process. So every administrator sits down and explains their role to the agent, explains their deadlines, lets them know how they'll support them. It's very clear from the beginning.
How do you create a culture of accountability without actually micromanaging?
Well, it's about check-ins, not check-ups.
Love that.
So like a red flag for me is avoidance, not coming into the office. Essentially, I'm the mirror. So when there's an expectation laid out and they know that they're not working towards that they've checked out, then I have to find the line between micromanaging versus I'm going to leave that person, because it also comes into play the personal aspect of what's going on for somebody as well. There's no micromanaging going on, but it's check-ins as in, hey, is everything okay? Instead of, you haven't given me that list.
Where are you at on this
Where are
task?
you at with this? Why hasn't this been done? Are you sticking to your ideal work week?
Yeah.
Clearly that's not happening. So that's where...
Don't set them up to be embarrassed.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And like the personal side of it, there's something going on.
Yes. What are the career killers that you see happen over and over again?
I wouldn't say they're career killers, but I would definitely say that they're career time wasters and that they're going down the wrong track. Looking into other systems and processes outside of what we supply and support them with.
Could you give me an example?
We've got Vault, which is a brilliant CRM, more complicated than what we've ever had at Harcourts. And instead of jumping in and learning the system, they look for other solutions instead of doing the work and understanding what we have available to them is one of the top systems. They're looking for the less complicated, something that's going to be essentially automatic for them, but that's not necessarily the best option, because I think where they go wrong is it removes the personal aspect of their business. And a lot of them, again, their reasons why is that client experience. And when you're implementing all of these systems within your business, and don't get me wrong, I think a lot of them are brilliant, but it's best to stick with what we have and just do the work. I always say to the agents, do old school real estate. Face the fear, pick up the phone, knock on the door, do those things. Again, old school real estate, and your business will grow.
Is there anything else that you see agents doing time and time again?
Rebranding. We have this idea around, I'm going to get the perfect brand and the perfect logo. I'm going to, launch it out to the world, and all of a sudden, I'm going to get listings. I'm going to make the sales, all based around a rebrand.
Brand in real estate is about who you are and what you do for people. It's not about changing a logo, changing a colour scheme, or getting different sold stickers, so I completely agree with you on that one.
Focus on your appraisals, focus on your prospecting. Yes. A rebrand's not going to fix what's happening in your business structure.
This would be an extremely hard conversation, but have you ever had to tell someone, look, I don't think real estate's right for you?
That's such a tricky question and a tricky place to be. Depending on the person, depending on their personality, they may have come from, structured salary, routine situation for quite some time, and now they find themselves in the complete opposite. You have to be accountable yourself. Yes, we can definitely help with accountability. When I do one-on-ones, I also have a 90-day program where we meet weekly, and I task the new agents with things that they must do before our next session, which I think is really important. So setting ideal work weeks, understanding how they prospect, and how to assist them with that. But as you track down and realize that the simple things that you feel like you're asking them to do aren't being done.
That should come naturally.
And it should come quite quickly, because that hunger should be there from the jump. Yes. And if it's not, that is a little bit of a red flag.
I think hunger is such an incredibly strong word. Do you think that hunger is the most important thing when it comes to someone making it or not?
Yeah. You have to, again, we go back to what the why is.
Yes.
And if your why isn't strong enough, the hunger's not there, the drive isn't there, I can't do that for you. That's something that has to come naturally, and it has to be quite quickly, because you can find yourself in this industry for a year without really doing anything that's dollar productive.
Okay, Ruby, it's time for some truth bombs. One truth agents need to hear but don't want to.
You're not too busy.
The one KPI that tells you if your business is in trouble.
Consistent lack of listings, for sure.
What's the most underrated hire in a real estate business?
Administration team. So underrated. You've got to get that right.
What do high performers do differently when no one is watching?
The boring stuff. The stuff that they don't want to do. The admin stuff. They just do it. They get on with it. They don't look for other fixes.
If there was a manager or a leader out there in real estate that wanted to know more,
yeah,
are they available to reach out to you?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'd love that.